Now that we've added some interactions, let's go back and check out design more in depth. If I come to the design tab, we'll see controls over all the look and feel of the player. The first tab is the player. There are player controls settings here that you can choose, such as hide all player controls if you don't want any of them to show up at all. That'll just be a pause and play video experience. Or you can get more granular, such as hiding the video time, hiding the seek bar, not showing the markers, the interaction markers on the seek bar. You can show fast forward and rewind, as well as speed control if you'd like. The player appearance, right now we have it set to show a looping preview before the video plays. So if I go ahead and refresh this, this is what it looks like. You can see it's moving in the background before they actually play the video. If you didn't want that, then we could just uncheck that box and choose a thumbnail instead. Next, we have colors and font. Right now, my accent color, as you see throughout the application, is blue. But I'm going to go ahead and change this to lighter blue. Let's go ahead and make that red. So if we go back, you'll see the play button is now red and default things to red. We can change our font. So right now we're using a Google font. You've got a big list of about 200 fonts right here. Let's go ahead and change it to that. You can also add a custom font if you wanted to upload your own font files and then select that. You can choose your avatar, which is going to show up next to your typed comments, as well as the icon that's for your brand that shows over the top of the video. Go to the buttons tab, we'll see simple controls for the default buttons. Right now, the default is white background with black text, but we could say every button that we add that doesn't have a custom design, I want it to have green text and a purple background. Ooh, that looks bad. Let's go ahead and make it white background again and add a border instead with green. You can control the rounding. So if I want this button to be perfectly square, I'd set it to 0. The most we can do is 20. If we come to questions here, you'll see some more controls. So when a question is shown on screen like this, as you saw earlier, it's inheriting these default controls unless you override it. So background, we can say, I want my questions to have a purple background instead. There it goes. We could say, I want the prompt to be a different color than white, answer colors to be different than white, correct and incorrect colors when it's showing them, and most importantly, the layout. Right now, you see this is default to half screen, but we could say, I actually want this to be full screen. So the questions take up the full width of the screen when they're shown. A couple more settings. We can choose to show or hide correctness once a viewer answers. If you don't want them to know if they got it correct or not, you can uncheck that. You can hide this numbering, this question 1 of 1, and you can enable people to enter their response by pressing the enter key. Transitions as well, where you can make the question come in from the top, like that, or from the side, like that. A couple things you can do here. Comments, like I mentioned, these are the questions, these are the interactions that you're typing and saving on the screen in real time. You can change the colors on this, as well as showing the avatar, change where they're shown, top left, top right, top center, and rounding. Cards, like I mentioned, are pre-made layouts of button text and images. We'll get more into that in a later video, but this is where you'd control that. Magic menu, like I mentioned, is a static menu that can be shown within the video. So similar to questions, you can choose where you want it to show, the size, as well as the colors. Same thing with end screen. Right now we've got some text, some buttons, and I'd say I actually want this to be purple as well. And that'll change the color just like that. And you can change the transition as well. Language and translations. So Mindstamp offers translations for all the common in-app strings that a viewer might see, such as if they see buy now, you can set this to be whatever you want. You can translate it to your own language. You can choose one of our pre-existing languages like Spanish, French, Chinese, Turkish. It'll automatically translate all these strings for you. Or you can enable auto translation. Auto translation will recognize the browser language of the viewer and automatically translate the strings to that. A few more things in here under other styling. You can set the default transition. By default, it's zoom. We could say we just want it to fade in instead, or we could have it zoom down. Some crazy stuff we can do in there. We can control some behavior, such as pausing behavior. Do we want the audio to fade? By default, that's on. We can show the seconds for countdown timers, and we can also show things in the video guide. Now, the video guide is what you see over here. Right now, all we have in here is the video transcripts able to be searched. But if you had chapters or interactions, they'd show up here as well. So I can say hotspot, and it's going to search, and show me, here's one thing for hotspot where I can click, and that's the part the video is on. That just about does it for design. So let's go ahead and check out